You know, it's less than 2 weeks since Boris Johnson resigned. Less than 2 weeks. It feels like several months ago.
Actually, the Conservative Party have moved at quite a fast pace with this, haven't they?
They really have. But notably, the other big thing today, of course, was Boris Johnson's last PMQs, last Prime Minister's Question Time. And you look back in the past, we had, you know, Margaret Thatcher saying, I'm rather enjoying this. We had, of course, that standing ovation for Tony Blair when he was like, that's it, the end. And David Cameron said that he was the future once, which was a jibe back at Blair, of course, from years ago. And yet today, on the whole, actually, the event felt rather flat, a bit dull, I would suggest. At times, lots of kind of meaningless constituency questions that ate up most of the 50 minutes it went on for. But it did get a bit lively towards the end, with the Prime Minister suggesting that it might not be the end. Let's have a watch.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank all the wonderful staff of the House of Commons. I want to thank all my friends and colleagues. I want to thank my right friend opposite, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank everybody here, and hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.
So, hasta la vista, what does it actually mean? Does it mean the end? Does it mean I might come back again? Is it au revoir? What did he actually mean?
Good question. Darling Street wouldn't be drawn on today. I don't know how many Terminator films there were, but there's certainly more than one. I put it like that. I mean, suggestions that, you know, he could, it's never impossible, could, of course, run at some point in the future. I think that's unlikely, but it is certainly not the last we've heard of Boris Johnson. Almost certainly a career outside of politics will blossom from yet again, and we'll hear him maybe on the pages of certain newspapers in the future.
Well, I do hear that today somebody who was the temporary editor of the Evening Standard has resigned. Indeed. So you just never know.
I will not speculate on that.
But he is a newspaper man. Hey, Indeed. I'm just having a guess.
Indeed.
Darren, we predicted it would be Truss. It wasn't by a big margin, though, was it?
It wasn't. It was actually surprisingly tight in the end. Only 8 votes between Penny Mordaunt and Liz Truss. Rishi Sunak out in the lead with 137. But we're now primed for this proper battle over the summer. We got a real taste of some of it, didn't we, during those debates, particularly at the weekend, where Liz and Rishi were essentially tearing strips off each other. Personal attacks, it must be said, too. No, I think there will be an attempt by the Conservative Party to try and not repeat that, but will it be possible? And the reason I ask that question is because they are actually got very big, deep divides on the big issue of the day, which is the economy and taxation. And I think this is going to get very tricky for the Conservative Party because what you're having, let's speculate Liz Truss wins, that you are right and she wins. How does Rishi Sunak, who this summer is going to say repeatedly, publicly, time and again, that what she's proposing with tax cuts is economically ruinous, it's irresponsible, it's fairy tale economics, could he and the 137 backers he's got genuinely row behind that opinion in September?
Darren, do you know what? Lots of people who wrote letters of resignation questioning Boris's integrity stood up in the House of Commons today and clapped him. So I think politicians can be very flexible.
It is going to be interesting. I think you're right. Liz is clearly the lead at the moment in terms of the bookies, the polls that we've seen amongst the membership. I think it is hers to lose, though, and we talked this a little bit last night about how campaigns can be unpredictable affairs. We've seen that in the past with Andrea Leadsom dropping out. We don't know what skeletons there might be in cupboards to emerge, but at the moment it is Liz's to lose, and it will be fascinating to see this play out amongst the membership because there will be lots of debates and lots of
12 hustings around the country, and I expect you to be at every single one of them.
I will try, but I'm going to the first debate, which is next Monday, and that will be a real mark of primetime television. And Liz's Achilles heel, that delivery that you talked about, will that potentially cost her some votes? You think it might do, and that will be her camp's main concern.